I found this property through Landlord Letters. I kind of tried speaking to a few agents, but because I got quite a lot of traction through the Landlord Letters, I just focused on that. She's a very, very successful business lady, and she was just absolutely sick and tired of the tenants that are in there. And the rooms are premium. Most of them are en suite as well.
Yeah.
So able to get around £800 a room, which is really, really high. So I managed to get another 5 rent-to-rents as well in Oxford, and like some of them were.
So it's not a fluke, not a one-off. So, David, you've done lots of kind of investing, lots of strategies, but very recently. So tell us briefly a little bit about yourself, what your background is, and how you got into property, first of all.
Okay, so I did an apprenticeship at BMW, electrical engineering apprenticeship, and I'm still working there at the moment. But I've had my notice in now, so my last day is on the 1st of November, which is pretty cool.
And so we won't tell people just yet, but we'll save for the end, kind of how you've been able to give your notice in, okay? But that's awesome. I didn't know that, so that's really good, fantastic. And so what was it that attracted you into? Obviously, that's you've done some qualifications, working for a good company. A lot of people are very happy, in a very good job like that. So what was your motivation, David?
It was mainly just to kind of generate a bit of extra income. A friend of mine that I worked with at Jaguar Land Rover, it turned out he had quite a big portfolio of properties, and he didn't actually need to work, and that was kind of the inspiration to kind of get going, and also needed to replace the income. My mum as well, who was ill, she's perfectly fine now, but it was just to kind of release her from her job so she could retire and enjoy life, really. Yeah,
fantastic. And I really admire that, because sometimes, don't you think we do more for other people than we do for ourselves? Yeah, so you have someone else to kind of motivate, that's really good. Okay, great. So obviously you came and joined us at Mastermind.
Yep.
And what strategy and what location did you choose to invest in?
So that was kind of my issue at the beginning. I was trying to do too much, too many places. I was looking at Coventry, Northampton and Oxford, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
And I kind of narrowed that down to Oxford. And that's when I really started to get a bit of traction. And I was a bit kind of cautious about doing Oxford, just because obviously it's just such an expensive area, and obviously I was looking at doing rent-to-rents, and Jackie Edwards was obviously, I thought, taking all the rent-to-rents. So
Jackie, one of our past masterminders, and she actually, remember, she said that, when it's very expensive, a lot of people say, oh, HMOs don't work in my area. Anyone ever felt that before? Show of hands? A lot of people say that in London, oh, HMOs just don't work. And I understand if you're buying an expensive house, it's a big deposit to put in. Yeah. But in expensive areas, rent-to-rent does work particularly well, because there are landlords who've got problems and they don't want to sell the property, but they don't want to hassle, and you can step in and do a real win-win deal, can't you?
Yeah. Definitely.
And by the way, don't ever think, because sometimes people say, oh, this person's in that area, I can't invest there because and if there's a well-known person, oh, they're there. Guess what? Do you want a secret? They don't do all the deals, okay? No one could ever do all the deals. So don't be put off areas just because other people are there. There's more than enough deals if you know how to find them. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So thus, because expensive area, rent-to-rent's a bit of a logical choice then?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about this particular deal. So this is in Oxford, very expensive area.
Yeah.
First of all, how did you find this property, and what were the circumstances of the owner?
So I found this property through Landlord Letters. I kind of tried speaking to a few agents, but because I got quite a lot of traction through the Landlord Letters, I just focused on that. And the lady, I met with the lady, that was actually the quick turnaround on this one. She's a very, very successful business lady, and she was just absolutely sick and tired of the tenants that are in there.
Right.
She just didn't have the time, and she'd gotten a bit of a muddle with the HMO regulations, so it wasn't actually HMO compliant. So she'd actually been fined quite a lot of money.
Right.
And it was just causing her a big headache, and she just wanted that removed.
So she had real pain.
Yes.
And you came up with the aspirin that was going to solve that pain for her.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, great. So let's talk through the numbers on this deal.
Yeah. So I met with the lady on the Friday, and kind of had a meeting over the weekend and arranged the £3,050 a month. Which is obviously quite a large amount, but because of its location, it's I don't know if any of you know Oxford, but it's on Headley Way, which is right next to the John Radcliffe Hospital. There's a huge premium for properties there, and it's Article 4 as well, so you can't just turn another one into a HMO.
Right.
So yeah, we arranged the £3,050 a month. And it was because there was a huge list of items needed rectifying from the HMO officer. It was quite a considerable investment of £20,000, including the furniture.
Which is more than we might normally put into an HMO,
Yes,
but obviously
definitely.
the rental kind of justifies that.
Yeah, and because it was such a large investment, I said that I can't do it over the 3 to 5 years, and it would have to be a 7 years just to enable me to get my money back over a long period.
Yeah, okay, great.
And again, as I mentioned, the rooms are premium. Most of them are en suite as well.
Yeah.
So able to get around £800 a room, which is really, really high.
Yeah.
And it's a bit more than actually anticipated.
Great, okay. So what does this property actually, after all the costs, what does the property make for you then?
£1,250 a month.
Okay, so property you don't own, £1,250 a month. Okay, so actually it's going to take just over a year to get all your 20 grand back.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And pretty healthy return.
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
so that's pretty good.
Yeah, really happy with that one, yeah.
But this isn't the only deal you've done, is it?
No.
Do you want to give us a quick summary of kind of rent to rent and ones you've actually bought, and then in a minute we'll tell them what the overall result you've done, which is pretty amazing.
Sure. So I managed to get another 5 rent to rents as well in Oxford, and like some of them were.
So it's not a fluke, not a one-off. Another 5.
Yeah. And like, as Simon said, some of them were literally no money down. The guy was actually a guy from Mastermind. He just didn't want the management, lived in a separate area, managed to get that one and similar kind of cash flow per month, but with no investment. So you can actually do it with kind of very minimal investment. It was just this one. It was just over a longer period with a bit more better location.
Yeah.
And I've managed to get the 6 rent to rents and also 3 purchases as well over the last 12 months. And it was mainly because you can only obviously purchase a certain amount of money for investors, and obviously the builders, mortgage lenders aren't prepared to lend you like 6 mortgages at a time.
No, if you apply for too many at one go, you kind of get blacklisted, don't you? Because something dodgy is going on here. So therefore, that's why actually a lot of people on Mastermind, when they're good at finding deals, they'll actually sell them to other people, because actually they can only they'll pick the very best ones themselves, because you can only do a certain number at a time, can't you?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. Do we have some pictures? I think we do. Oh, yes, okay. So this is what it was before.
Yeah, so it was pretty grim. There was kind of students in the property. It was the actual like structure of the property was fine. It was just the internal was just a bit grim. You can see like some of the walls are a bit yellow, which is not very nice. And I think
that's not magnolia. That's just yellow walls.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah. But the overall property was fine. It was just like decorations and put a new bathroom in as well.
So here's how you spend some of the money.
Yeah, and a lot of this is
Doesn't that look different?
Yeah. And that's how we're able to get a premium, just with the kind of making it look aesthetically pleasing, more like a hotel room, as you mentioned previously.
Yeah. Now, sometimes people who are doing rent-to-rent or HMOs, they say, but what about all the competition? What we teach is, well, actually, what most landlords do, if they can't rent the rooms, they just drop the rent down. The problem with that is you start to attract the wrong kind of tenant. Whereas actually, if you can go higher, put the rent up, but make sure the property, when people walk in, you have that wow factor, it looks like a hotel room, it's much easier to fill the rooms, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, with this property, I put the pictures of it from a previous refurb that we've done, and had people wanting to move in, and we're saying it's being refurbed. They're like, please, 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 and they actually paid their deposits before it was actually ready. Yeah. So it's kind of good having a waiting list before it was actually ready.
Yeah. It's a great tip, by the way, to get pictures from other properties, or even you get computer-generated images, CGIs, and walkthroughs. You might spend a couple of £100 getting those, but if you're refitting a property, refurbing it, spending that money can secure all your tenants, so that you're not waiting till the refurb's done and then having a month or 2 while you're filling up. You can actually get the tenants lined up beforehand, which is a really good idea.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Do you have any more? Oh no, that was it pretty much. So would you like to, 6 rent-to-rents, 3, where are the purchases?
So the purchases are in Bicester and Banbury.
Right, so still kind of slightly cheaper areas, but still surrounding area.
Yeah, that's right. That's
okay.
Right.
So do you want to share with everyone what you're, I'm glad you're sitting down this. David's just finished a mastermind program, Mastermind 22. Who's seen the videos, by the way, of some of our top performers we put out on the internet? Seen those? Yeah? You should go and watch those. If you're ever feeling, please write this down in workbooks, guys. If you're ever feeling demotivated, go onto YouTube and type in Property Mastermind Program. And up will come, because do we all have days when we're feeling, what the hell am I doing this for? Or is it just me? Okay. Okay, not just me, good. Go and type in Property Mastermind Program, and you'll see some of the amazing case studies of people who are just like you, sometimes in a worse position than you, and see what they've achieved. and use that as inspiration, saying, look, this is why I'm doing this. If these people have done it, it means I can do it as well. And so David's video is going to be out very soon. I think we actually sent an email out about it. But David was one of our top performers. We had him on stage, and then by his peers, voted the top performer,
yes,
I believe. Yes,
very lucky, yeah.
And so what was once all those houses, I know sometimes you get something, you've got to do it up, but once the ones that you bought or did rent to rent on in just 11 months, went on the program, when they're all fully let, when you take off the mortgages, the rent to landlords, insurance, maintenance, everything, before tax, what's the profit you make?
£160,000 a year and £1.7 million of property.
Give him a round of applause. And so you started Mastermind 12 months ago.
Yes.
You've just finished. Did you have any property experience beforehand?
I bought 2 properties, which I probably shouldn't have. Yeah, so not.
So you had some experience, but bad experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what was it? Obviously, you met your friend at work who had a lot of properties, and that inspired you, and you want to help your mum. But what was it that actually made you come on Mastermind?
I think it was like I went to the first PIN event, and it was just being around these amazing people, hearing what these different people can achieve, and it was just kind of being inspired that if they can do it, why can't I?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the main thing, and just being inspired by all these different amazing people I met along the way.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you've inspired many people today, so let's give David a round of applause. Thank you, David. Thanks so much. Well done. Cheers, thank you. Cheers. Well, what an incredible story, right? Just amazing. I do hope you got massive value from watching this YouTube video. I'd encourage you to click on the link below to come and do the online training with me. And I've got another video lined up for you, which I think is also going to be really useful that you should watch once you've registered for the online training with me. So invest with knowledge, invest with skill. I'll see you very soon.